If someone had told me 6 months before the turning point that everything in my life would change in 180 days, I would have laughed. Seriously. Back then, I felt stuck. I knew I wanted more. I knew that wasn't it. But I was trapped in a routine that drained me, surrounded by doubts, repetition, self-sabotage. Life was stuck in almost mode. Almost good. Almost organized. Almost happy. Until one day, a random phrase hit me like an arrow. Nothing changes while you keep living as the version of yourself that created this reality. That broke me. I realized I couldn't wait around for the perfect moment. The transformation wouldn't start when everything aligned. It would start the day I decided to flip the script with what I had. And that's what I did. I picked 180 days, 6 months, not to change everything, but to commit to a version of myself I'd never stuck with before. Today, I'm telling you exactly how that process went. No magic tricks, no miracle formulas, just 3 practical decisions you can apply, and if you take them seriously, they can rebuild your life with awareness and power. I woke up from the routine that numbed me and rewrote my days. My transformation didn't start with a miracle. It started with a reckoning, with the harsh truth that my routine was keeping me exactly where I didn't want to be. I woke up tired, started the day on autopilot, put out fires, chased deadlines, went to bed frustrated, and did it all again the next day. The scariest part? Everything was working. I was paying bills, delivering work, replying to messages, but none of it made me feel alive. Because I wasn't in control, I was on autopilot. On the first day of my 180 days, I did something different. I woke up earlier. No phone. Sat in silence for 15 minutes. Grabbed a piece of paper and wrote, if I had 6 months to build a life I'm proud of, what would I change? No filters. No fear of how big the answer might be. What came out became my first real list of priorities. Simple things but powerful. Have time for myself every day, even just 30 minutes. Get my finances in order, stop running from the numbers. Change what I consumed. Social media, people, information. Create a pace of life with more presence, less reaction. And then came the hardest part, sticking with it. Because the brain hates change. It wants to repeat what's familiar, even if it sucks. But I knew, if I didn't hold on to this new routine, I'd fall right back into my old life. So I created a simple system. I started each day with clarity. No more waking up and jumping straight into replies. Every day, in the first 10 minutes, I wrote down 3 things. What I wanted to build. Who I needed to be that day. What I would no longer tolerate. This simple habit took me out of random mode and put me into intention mode. I cut out the triggers that dragged me down. I muted accounts that only made me compare myself. I stepped away, without guilt, from conversations and people who kept saying, it's hard for everyone. I swapped distractions for real learning. Books, videos, classes, all focused on personal and financial growth. I recommitted to myself every Sunday. Each Sunday, I reviewed my week with one question. Am I getting closer to the life I said I wanted? And if the answer was no, I made adjustments. No drama. No guilt. But with responsibility. That first step, stopping the autopilot, was what made room for everything else to come. Because as long as your routine is a repeat of the version that got you here, nothing new will grow. Want to transform your life in 180 days? Start here. Set a fixed time every day to check in with yourself. Be silent. Write. Organize. Breathe. And most importantly, protect that time like it's sacred. Because it's not about having time. It's about owning the fact that your new life begins when you choose to put yourself at the center, before the world chooses for you. I killed the old version of me and stepped into a new identity. In the first 30 days of my journey, one thing became clear. It wasn't enough to change what I did. I had to change who I believed I was. You can organize your schedule, study, eat better. But if, deep down, you still see yourself as a mess, disorganized, someone who never gets it right, your brain will drag you back. It's like trying to climb stairs with a chain around your ankle. The chain is called old identity. The version that created my frustrated life was a version that shrunk itself constantly, avoided responsibility, was terrified of failing, needed others' approval to feel valid, said yes to everyone except herself. And that version had to go, not with violence, but with choice. So I did something symbolic but powerful. I wrote her a goodbye letter. Yes, literally. I poured into it everything she taught me, everything she made me carry, everything I was ready to let go of. And I ended it with the sentence, "Thank you for keeping me alive until now. From here on, I choose to live differently." After that, I wrote another letter to my new self, the one I wanted to embody for the next 180 days. And most importantly, I started acting like her, even if I didn't feel ready. That's the key. You don't wait to feel transformed to act differently. You act differently until transformation feels natural. In the days that followed, everything became practice. I started saying no with more clarity. I spoke up in meetings like someone who knows what she delivers. I talked to myself in the mirror with more firmness. This is who you're becoming. I got rid of clothes that represented old versions of me. I rewrote my professional bio, cutting out the maybe and owning my authority. This isn't faking it. It's neurological programming. Your brain needs to see the new behavior to begin registering a new identity. And the more you repeat it, the stronger it gets. Until what once felt awkward becomes your new normal. If you want to apply this step today, here's an exercise. Name the version of yourself you're ready to leave behind. List her habits, beliefs, fears, and patterns. Write down what she taught you and why you're now ready to let her go. Yes, thank her. Don't fight her. Honor her and release. Then describe your new version in detail. How does she act? What does she say about herself? What kind of decisions does she make? What will she never tolerate again? Choose one new behavior to start tomorrow, even if it feels strange at first. This process is like changing clothes. At first, the fit feels off, but after repeating it, it becomes your second skin. Because the woman you want to become already exists. She just needs you to stop feeding the version that holds you back. The days I almost gave up, and why I kept going anyway. Every plan looks amazing on day one. Motivation is high. The vision is clear. You feel like this time it's happening. But here's the truth. The days that change your life aren't the exciting ones. They're the quiet ones. There was a day around day 67 of my process when I sat on my bed and thought, nothing is happening. What's the point of all this? No one's watching. And right then, if I had followed that thought, I would have gone straight back to my old life. But I stopped, took a breath, and asked myself, the woman I'm becoming, what would she do right now? She wouldn't look for applause. She wouldn't demand instant results. She would keep going, with consistency, with respect for the process, with loyalty to what she promised herself. That's when I realized the key to transformation isn't intensity, it's consistency. And to achieve that, I made 3 adjustments that kept my discipline solid, even when motivation vanished. I stopped relying on my mood and relied on my schedule. On good days, I followed through with enthusiasm. On bad days, I followed through because it was already on paper. My routine was my anchor. It wasn't a prison, it was a self-care system. I had scheduled time for studying, for reviewing goals, for organizing finances. Even when the day went off track, I stuck to the basics. And over time, that became a kind of quiet power. I can trust myself. I keep my promises. I documented everything, not to post, but to remember I created a progress journal. Every night before bed, I wrote down what I accomplished, what got in the way, what I want to improve tomorrow. This ritual gave me perspective. It helped me see that even on off days, I was still moving forward, that I wasn't stuck anymore, I was under construction. And more than that, seeing my own records kept me from falling for the lie that nothing's changing. It was. I just needed to pause and see it. I normalized the ups and downs, without self-punishment. There were weeks I messed up badly, fell back into a bad habit, lost focus, avoided an important conversation. But instead of saying, I blew it all, I'd say, it was a curve, not a failure. Real transformation takes maturity. And maturity means moving forward even when things aren't perfect. I treated myself with firmness, but also with compassion. I corrected, adjusted, got back on track, and that gave me the strength to make it to the end. On the 180th day, my life wasn't cinematic, but it was real, stable, and most importantly, aligned with who I had become. I gained clarity. I gained autonomy. I gained peace. I gained money because I finally managed to sustain behaviors that lead to results. If you truly want to change your life in 180 days, understand this. You won't feel motivated every day. You won't always see immediate progress. There will be setbacks, doubts, comparisons, but there will also be strength. There will be moments of victory. You'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll feel proud of who you're becoming. And all of that will happen if you keep going, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Because the woman who transforms her life is the one who chooses to stay consistent when no one is watching. You don't need 10 years to change your life. You need 180 days of real commitment to a new version of yourself. A version that gets off autopilot and lives with intention, embraces a new identity, even before she feels ready, stays consistent even on the days no one is watching. This transformation doesn't start at the new year, the right month, or when life calms down. It starts the moment you decide to stop repeating the version of you that no longer serves you. There's no shortcut. There's clarity. There's a decision. And there's consistency. If you can hold on to that for 6 months, with courage and loyalty to yourself, you'll be amazed not just by the results, but by the woman staring back at you in the mirror. Drop a comment below. What's going to be your first step starting today? And if you want more content that doesn't romanticize change, but gives you real tools to grow with structure, presence, and power, stick around. Because your new life is already waiting. All that's missing is you.